Hello everybody, and welcome to the replay of XP2024 in Bolzano. Today, I will show you the experience report I have presented in the conference of the 5th of June with the title Behavioral Engineering at the Software Craftsmanship Dojo. I'm Michele Bressoni, and I am a software craftsmanship coach. In the presentation, you will find here and there some QR codes that are helping you to get some extra content to support what I'm presenting you into this replay. This one particularly is my business card. Scan it, use it, and ping me to discuss further what I'm presenting here. So let's start. I want to welcome you all to my dojo. And with my dojo, I mean the experience report that I'm discussing about here is a 14 years adventure that I've started in the early 2000s, empowering developers to become a software craftsperson. So toward software craftsmanship, let's say, or modern software engineering, as you prefer. The dojo, in its evolution, became what is now known as the Software Craftsmanship Dojo. And on the left, you see the QR code to jump on the dedicated website with all the content that you need to understand what the dojo is, plus also the link to the GitHub project where I have shared with the community the yellow and the white belt curriculum so that you can understand what we are doing into the details into a dojo to let developers evolve towards software craftsperson. The dojo is also the cornerstone that we are using at Bricks Consulting to evolve organization toward digital excellence. In Bricks Consulting, I am the CEO and I have developed the dojo and all the stuff that I will show you now in this presentation to help organization to evolve into something that is at the time with the technology and with the environment surrounding this technology that I call digital evolution. So, to start this discussion, I need to do a brief introduction because this has shaped profoundly how I have approached evolution and transformation into IT. So when I was a kid, I was siloing my life in three main compartments. The first was martial art, when I was doing judo and jiu-jitsu as a kid. Then in IT, I got also an old Commodore 64 when I was really young, and I was playing stuff as all the kids playing video games. But also I started to try to do development when I was young on this Commodore 64 with BASIC. But more importantly, these were at that time some silos that took not the larger majority of my time, because most probably enjoying motorsport with my friends and with my brother was the real thing. Whatever was with wheels and an engine was our toy. And this was how I was growing up until in 2000 roughly, I got a strange convergence in my life when the motors part and IT part converged together thanks to my brother Christian and his best friend Simone, that they brought me into this red team, the Ferrari F1 team and the 7-time world championship with Michael Schumacher. And a lot of people, they are telling and asking me, hey Mike, what's such a beauty? It was for sure would been amazing if I would have helped us to join you and get some details and glamour around the Ferrari F1. Yeah, okay, got it. Wonderful. All this stuff would be amazing if everybody of you would join a F1 team, do a pit walk, whatever. Good. But F1 is not the beauty that is seen from outside, and I tell you why. Let me move with a snap of a finger into a quantum vortex, and I bring you inside the team. Because inside the team, you would be shocked, as I was, because everything in F1 is engineered. There is nothing that is for lucky or because this is the protocol, okay? Everything is engineered. And with engineers, I say that every aspect of racing, and not only even logistic, is designed to deliver peak performance. And how we design stuff to deliver peak performance is pretty easy. We test components beyond failure. And with beyond failure, I mean exactly failure. If we take, for instance, the failure of an engine is not a drama, is the way how we test which is the weakest component in an engine so that we can improve it and make the engine more reliable, more powerful. And this is the philosophy in F1 for every single aspect, not only engine, electrical component, telecommunication, aerodynamic, even the pit stop, even people that are moving in the box are designed by engineering, finding how they need to move in order to don't collide one with each other in the moment a pit stop starts. So testing stuff beyond failure was really shocking me. Because when I was working as a normal IT guy in a normal world outside F1, I was asking myself, where is this engineering? I am a software engineer, and where is the engineering part in my job? It's not there. Where is engineering in software development? This was really bugging me. And remember, this was yearly 2000. And nowadays, we have software everywhere, on the watch, on the dishwasher, on the car. Your Tesla is trying to drive by itself. So software is really everywhere, as was predicted by Mark Anderson, that software is eating the world. It was 2011. Now is really, really true. Software is pervasive in our culture, in our world. And how is built this software? If I, as a software engineer, are telling you, guys, I saw something as true engineering into F1, true engineer that I can rely also as the kind of way of working in structure building or whatever is with the engineering level. But what is engineering in software? How is built this software? Is this software built by engineers? So this was really bugging me. And I'm scared because what I saw in most 30 years of career is software that is really far from the standard of engineering that I have in my mind. And so, with this brief introduction, this was me, 2003, got in love with lean, agile, and specialist in programming, and I was trying to preach here and there about technical mastery, technical excellence, software craftsmanship, as we know nowadays after the 2008 manifesto of software craftsmanship. But I felt really alone, really like a kid was playing around in the quarter with his scooter, but without friends. And this was for multiple reasons that we will understand later, until 2010 something happened. And this where indeed this adventure is began. Because in 2010, I was able to join Unicredit, and Unicredit had a mission to revamp and refactor their core asset to do some stuff with the European bank regulation due to the new regulation of banking in Europe. And this was an interesting challenge because the core asset was a legacy application managed by a team that was an application in Java of roughly 10 years old. And so I say to myself, okay, what if this time we try to apply the F1 engineering approach, but with the second convergence of my life? So IT that joins the martial art. Because in 2005, in XP by conference by Laurent Bossavi, was presented the Coding Dojo as an idea that developers to upskill and evolve, they should do exactly the same as a practitioner, martial art practitioner going in a dojo to learn how to deal with judo, for instance. And I am indeed a judo and jiu-jitsu trainer. So I say to myself, what if we design a program that is not the normal training, but a program that is like a bootcamp, a jump starter that is providing people the just enough theory about extreme programming and product management, and then we combined the RoboSavi Coding Dojo idea plus my real experience to train people in a dojo to let them understand how to practice and learn by doing test-driven development and the XP practices. And also I was thinking, okay, myself as a training in my dojo, I am also the technical coach in the dojo, supporting individuals in the moment they are trying something with suggestion, observation, improvement, questions. So what if I put also technical coach embedded in the team to act as I act in my dojo? And this is the recipe that in 2010 changed everything. Because the result that I observe from this new recipe were far beyond my imagination. So due to the clear vision of the product built since early stage with the latest user experience techniques, especially the emerging one, the user story mapping from Jeff Patton, and getting all the knowledge from the bank about the European regulation, letting them working with the developers with the typical extreme programming customer on-site practices, was really creating a impact into how the product was discovered and designed in the early stage, creating a backlog that was really healthy so that the people in the team upskill with the dojo into their technical mastery, they were able to focus their time in effective flow and coding. And all the struggle in the past to do deployment in production fade away because due to the emerging DevOps practices of continuous integration and continuous deployment, in the snap of a finger, the product was shipped in production. And because of all this evolution in behavior in the team, the friction between ops, developer, QA, they fade away. The visual communication with the real agility, with a real whiteboard, with not robotic stand-ups, with people discussing the real important matters in the stand-up, synchronizing, and everything was visual, was empowering everyone in the organization to understand what was going on. No anymore need for meeting, for pinging people to understand. So the control obsession fade away. And the communication was really effective. If I have to tell you as a post-mortem analysis, what I discover is the shocking revolution that doing technical and social evolution together was the game changer. Only trying to preaching about technical excellence wasn't enough because the environment wasn't ready for that kind of practices. Instead, doing a bootcamp with the dojo and the coach in the team on site with the customer, letting people understand the evolution of the team, helped to create the condition for this team to evolve. And at that moment, I found myself at the verge of happiness because I felt, okay, Mike, finally, you are not anymore alone with your scooter trying to rush around in the quarter in search of friends. But now you have a pretty comfortable and reliable car that is also with some friends that you have found into this journey. And you are sharing with them the same mindset of software craftsmanship, of modern software engineering, real agility. And so I told myself, okay, what if now I try to evolve this experiment to the next stage? And so I started my own startup, where in my startup, I decided to focus on lean UX practices, so user centricity. I tried to get all the knowledge to create the right product in the early stage of development. So I tried to shift left all the discovery that was possible, especially leveraging the paper prototyping technique in Lean UX plus the user persona, app and team up, and all the stuff that are around the sketching mocking. The idea was, if I shift left all this design with A/B test, I'm pretty sure that the user has the UI and the UX tested, and so the developers, they can code effectively the user story. And indeed, this was the result. But it was beyond my expectation. So the users were really satisfied because every feature was an implementation of the kind of taste that they got, the advertise that they got on the paper mocking. And the developer, more shockingly, they were reporting on long term that they were more engaged with more time to code, because it was not anymore the need to create any rework user story or ticket or whatever. The code was exactly doing what the user was expecting, and the user testing it was confirming that their idea were exactly right. And so I thought, okay, Mike, finally you evolved the car into a race car, into the kind of approach that I observe in Formula One, where everything was tested beyond failure. So I was able to bring left all the tests to confirm that what we were shipping to the product in production to the customer were exactly what they were expecting. And so I told myself, okay, this works in a team. What if I try to scale it into a corporation? And so I joined in 2017 IBM, where I found a mission that was pretty different. Wasn't anymore a team, was an organization. The organization was the organization in charge of managing the contract ending system of IBM. That was the contract that is managing all the contracts that the IBM as a corporation has with all the customer. You can imagine how many contracts and how many billions are going through this machine, this product. And I talk about machine for a second because indeed the machinery around this product, they were 55 years old. So there were pieces of the core algorithm that they were on mainframe in PL1 and COBOL, and they were dated more than 35 years. As you can imagine, it wasn't a Java application of 10 years. It was a 35 years old application with core component in a mainframe with many layers of technology to arrive to web services in Java. And the team was more than 330 persons spread across the world from Japan to Asia, Europe, Americas, especially Americas, also with people on the West Coast. So the social and technical challenges here were a lot bigger than what I was testing the dojo in UniCredit and in my own startup. For this, I felt the need that the dojo have to mutate. Evolving wasn't enough. I wasn't able to evolve the dojo per se more than what it was evolved. I had to mutate it. And the mutation was expanding the dojo to all the stakeholders around the development, product owners, scrum master, and leadership, due to the nature of scaled development that the project was requiring, because there were more than 20 teams involved. So I decided to replicate the same formula of the dojo for the product owner to enhance the product management, for class masters to enhance the agility, and for leaders to enhance all the leadership that is necessary to surround and support almost 350 persons worldwide working together on a common goal. And for this reason, common goal, I decided, okay, what if I inject into the picture also the OKR to enhance vision and strategy and clarity of purpose, so that the team, they know which is the goal that they need to push. And with this mutation, the dojo was able to grow, was able to make a huge impact, and in its peak performance, it was deployed from Asia to West America, and we had more than 63 coaches that were running all the different kind of dojos, from the Coding Dojo to the product owner to the Scrum Master, and finally to the leadership with the OKR. In this final evolution, what I observed as a result was that the mutation from dojo to an ecosystem of dojo was really making the impact to rewire cultural behavior towards something more functioning. And because I was starting to observe recurring patterns, I started to develop an idea, okay, what if I catalog all these patterns and anti-pattern with a predictable algorithm that is telling me if this pattern, anti-pattern is present, these are the typical correlation of outcomes that I am observing. And I started to develop in myself the awareness of if I am able to observe behavior and rewire them, I can change culture of people and so organization. And to help this evolution, to help to change this behavior, I was able to deploy at the end in IBM the OKR, especially in CIO, creating an objective that was moving the organization toward digital excellence. Because in this way, I was able to create the need for the people to evolve toward digital excellence. And because the need without the support, I understood pretty well in the Unicredit mission, is pretty dangerous, is necessary to create also the concept of a community of practice, a concept that, to be honest, it developed by itself because all the dojo together, they were capable to create a circle of people with the common interest, people that they were working in different teams, joining together. So it was a community of practice that emerged by itself with people that they were connected with themselves in the dojo. And because the dojo in its ecosystem mutation was connecting multiple dojos together to create a role-play game session, to play hypothesis and experiment on good and bad behaviors, so functional and dysfunctional patterns, this connection between human beings created an overwhelming community that from dojo-centric became ecosystem-centric. And everybody was connected in a parallel way of discussion that was business agnostic, was way of working related, not business related. And this created the feeling of being empowered to understand what to improve and finding people with the common interest that can design with you the specific hypothesis and experiment to evolve. As an observation, if I have to check the system as a post-mortem analysis, what really puzzled me for a long time was the missing link of the neuroscience and behavioral psychology. Behavioral psychology that with the gamification was really able to change people behavior without any kind of backfire or pushback, because the gamification moves individuals despite their age and role and tag and authority to a different plane, a plane where they return kids, where they return eager to experiment because it's a psychological safe environment. And if you connect these two aspects, you can use neuroscience for coaching in a gamified session to help people understanding the consequence of their actions and to let them design new action with a better outcome. So when I arrived at this point, my career, I felt that the F1 car that I was designing after the experience with Unicredit and my startup became more a truck, a logistic truck of F1 with inside the F1 car, but also with inside all the tools, all the stuff that F1 teams need to deploy the competition on a different circuit. For me, it was to deploy digital transformation to my customer. Because in 2020, with the COVID pandemic issue and the rise of remote working, with my partners, we decided, what if we use this opportunity to deploy the latest evolution of the dojo to multiple customers simultaneously to test faster the feedback loop and to improve the product in a better way. And because to do that within the product, we said, okay, it's the moment that we craft from all this experience we collected so far a product. And the first stuff that you need in a product box, as you know, is the product name. And so we decided to call it the Unicorn Ecosystem as an holistic evolution platform to move teams and organization toward digital excellence. What is the Unicorn ecosystem? I will explain you how typically we deploy the Unicorn ecosystem to an organization. And it's pretty simple. We start with an organization assessment. So typical our customer are asking us, okay, can you come and assess our organization? Because with this assessment, we track from organization to portfolio teams and individual indicators that are providing us data to have a interesting discussion and also challenges discussion with the perception of the company from our customer side. And these data are helping us to let them understand the point of view of their company without ego or biases or assumption or emotion, are data, pure emotionless data that are reporting how the different layers of your organization are working. And so when we have this data deployed on the field, what we do typically is we deploy the software craftsmanship dojo in, of course, an IT company. The critical mass of your labor force are developers, so let them working toward digital excellence, starting to shape their new behaviors with the mastery that is typically connected to modern software engineering. So we start to deploy the dojo, and simultaneously we deploy the KPI and the coaching. KPI is the key behavior indicator. It's a framework that I have designed in these 14 years to understand which are the patterns and anti-patterns that I observe from organization to individuals that are typically leading to some kind of predefined, so like a model, predefined outcome. I have, of course, variance of error because the behavior typically can have a narrow spectrum of different outcome, but typically I'm able to predict which are the outcomes, the correlation between this behavior and the actual data that we have assessed in the organizational assessment. With this and coaching discussion with hypothesis and experiment, typically we are capable to reshape technical and social mastery of a team toward digital excellence. But to do that, what we do typically is combining this evolution also with OKR and a leadership dojo, so that from board to first line manager in an organization, all of them, they are on board to understand, okay, this is the mission to evolve our company toward this digital excellence. And the leadership knows that they need to support the evolution not only of technical practice, but also of all the social environment and social behavior toward this kind of evolution, an evolution that will emerge over time instead of being pushed with force, transforming from A to B. And over time means every company makes revenue based on their products. So in a company needs to evolve toward digital excellence due to the change of technology, most probably their portfolio needs to be modernized. So product and services, they need to take a leap forward, embracing new technology. or embracing new market behavior due to new technology. And so what we deploy is a task to do portfolio modernization, and also we support the product management community with the product dojo so that we let them understand how to create the right products in the right way, but shifting left as much as possible the product discovery with all the lean UX practices I have shown to you since the early stage of the dojo when I was spiking it in UniCredit and in my startup. Nowadays, the lean UX are pretty solid with practice like design sprint and other stuff that are really helping you to have a definition and discovery of your product that can be totally user-centric with the latest concept of design ops as well. When we have finally the teams working toward their digital excellence, leveraging extreme programming and all the agility in the right way, and the product management community creating the new product and services, and the leadership supporting the evolution with objective and key result that is moving the company in the right direction. What we observe is that the agile by the book, implementing a framework, deploying it with a cookie cutter is not working. And so we need to support all the agilist community with a design dojo for them, to empower them to understand which is the right stuff to do, how we can improve agility over agile by the book. And for doing that, we empower this agilist community with the KBI framework, letting them becoming agent of change, letting them become observer of the environment, to let them understand, okay, you are observing this behavior, so most probably this is the outcome that you should expect, and tracking it with organizational assessment and correlating over time the evolution of behavior with the evolution of the organizational assessment aspect that they are observing into the organization. Last but not least, what we discover is that when a company is evolving toward digital excellence, the kind of HR pipelines and regulation you had at the beginning of your evolution are not anymore working. HR needs to be updated to the status quo with the needs that your organization is facing during the evolution. Who better than the teams know these kind of requirements? So we have designed an onboarding unicorn product that is a way to assess the right talent that is the perfect fit for your team. It's assessment based on multiple stages that is providing HR with all the tools and the cooperation with the teams to understand which is the best guy that can join our organization, staying inside the frame of HR hiring in a corporation or in a normal company as well. And this way, we have the process and the right person joining the team in the right moment. The example could be you cannot get in an amateur league a professional player. A player will be bored pretty easily. On the other side, you cannot get an amateur into a professional league because the guy will be smashed even in the training sessions. So you need to find the right guy for the kind of challenge your team is facing at the moment you are doing hiring. And then assessing the social fit and the cultural fit so that the guy can grow with you instead of pushing back. So all this to realize that the new product we have designed, the unicorn ecosystem in these 4 years, in its evolution to become an holistic multidimensional approach, help us to catalog and structure with a behavioral engine approach more than 150 key behavior indicators. So behaviors that are key to achieve some kind of patterns that we need to tackle in order to get toward digital excellence. These indicators connected with the governance for excellence with OKR not only as objective, but as key result that we need to tackle in a quarter as evolution of social behaviors are really creating the ground for your organization to evolve toward a compound of individuals with a happy customer community, a happy labor force community, so finally getting rid of disengagement and burnout, and most importantly, the company will start to produce results that are exactly the results that the board was looking for. But in this evolution, the board is looking for indicators that are business-oriented, market shares. But how to achieve this result is a result of an evolution of the culture and the labor force of your organization. It's not anything that moves from the board to the team, telling the organization that you need to transform from A to B. It's an evolution that is pain-free, resilience-free. And if I have to tell you, which is the post-mortem analysis of doing the unicorns ecosystem with multiple customers at the same time, what we understood is that the data-driven approach is really key to sustain difficult conversation and letting people understand that this is the direction that the company should take, because it's the way how the people inside your company are working, and then slowly helping them to evolve their way of working toward a better shape. So from 2020 to today, in these 4 years, developing the unicorns ecosystem and scaling it to multiple customers, what we have learned so far that we want to share with you is pretty interesting. But before starting with the lesson learned, let me share with you an observation. Since I started to be an IT guy, so with an old Commodore 64, to today, I saw how many digital disruption that I don't even remember. And if I need to think back and forward as well, what I'm pretty sure, my dear C executives, is that the digital disruption is perpetual. The technology will always evolve. And this evolution is perpetual. AI is not the last bus stop. It's something that is temporary. It will arrive soon, another digital disruption. And so your organization cannot transform from A to B, because B, that you are thinking today, is only a temporary bus stop. You need to think then after and after and after. And if you are always transforming with a delay, you have increments on transformation that are always left over. And so put in your head that digital disruption is the playground that you need to work. And also start to put in action these 3 lessons learned. The first, you cannot transform your company to chase digital disruption, because if you do that, you are only upskilling and reskilling people to embrace a new technology. But what you need to do is combining this digital disruption transformation with an evolution that is simultaneously on technical side, but also on social side. Because in this way, you can create the perfect environment to embrace the digital disruption and use it to evolve your company to the next shape. Second, in this evolution process, don't use ego, emotion, use data. And especially the design that we have created with the unicorn ecosystem, with engineering in an approach that is driven by data and is using behavioral psychology and neuroscience. So all the behavioral engineering aspect of evolution to lead you to take decision is the key differentiator to do it from a emotion-driven to a data-driven. because motion-driven is putting stress on leadership, because with their knowledge, they need to guess which is the best option that can move the company from A to B. But if you have stopped to think from A to B, you think only from A to something that is evolved, and you let them deciding with data, and you let the compound of all the individuals involved in this evolution, defining which is the hypothesis. With this data, the hypothesis is this, and these are the possible outputs that we want to achieve, and these are the experiments that we want to try to achieve these outputs. You let them take a decision in a really easier canvas and approach, because this is how they feel in control, because they can play with their mind and their knowledge to try to find which is the best possible. And because they have many options, they can discover which is the best one instead of guessing in advance and then having to deal with the consequence of failure. And this leads us to the third lesson learned, that for a martial art practitioner is nothing new. It's called the Ikigai philosophy. For people that they don't know what is Ikigai, is a philosophy in Japan where individuals, they have their own passion. And if they nurture this passion, they develop some skills. And if they use these skills to their work environment and they get paid for it, you can get an individual that can provide to an employer the best employee as possible. But if what the employee is doing on the work side is creating an outcome that has positive impact on the environment, on the world, on the community around him, then you have the Ikigai, the nirvana, where I can put all my passion with my skill at the service of my employer, and I work, and what I do as my job is creating a better environment where I can live and all my beloved one as well. If you combine this, you get the perfect recipe of some kind of tool, the most powerful one, to fight the disengagement and burnout that lately is the struggle of so many organizations. And these three key discoveries are leading us to the conclusion. A conclusion that I had crafted this pictogram in a way that sticks in your head. Because the conclusion is, guys, stop transforming, start evolving. In the pictogram, as you see, the transformation is moving raw materials into a blueprint. Moving this raw material into blueprint, it means melting and forging screws and pipes and whatever, and then grinding, bending, welding them to achieve a final component, or going to a CNC machine or a mill and then creating a cog for your system. Is this something that we can do with human beings? Can we put a human being into a lathe? I don't think so. Can we chop a piece of the human being and grind and weld something different? No, we cannot. So the raw material that we have in an IT company is not the raw material that we have on a welding company. And for this reason, the digital evolution is the final result. We need to help these individuals to evolve into a different organization, into an organization that can leverage the digital disruption in technology to evolve what they are doing in a different way, in a better way. And as you see, if we understand that the key, the raw material that we have are human beings, it's clear why we need to evolve them. And transformation is not the thing. We cannot do digital transformation. We should stop to do digital transformation because they don't work. we should start to embrace digital evolution, helping organizations to understand how they can evolve to fight the crisis that they have on the marketing due to AI, due to new customer behavior, due to evolution on the environment that requires them to evolve. If you are ready to evolve, scan this QR code. You will achieve a free organizational assessment. You can get in contact with us. We will discuss your digital evolution needs, and together we will understand how we can support your organization to evolve into the organization that you dream to achieve. And because getting knowledge and staying on track with all the updates is paramount in this era of social network and newsletter. This is the newsletter of the Forge of Unicorns, where every week I will release a new article, and I will let people better understanding what is inside the unicorns ecosystem, the different components, how they work, why they work, and providing you a sneak peek of what you can do if you stop transforming and you get the right partner that helps you to start evolving. With that is everything I was looking to say to you. As you see from the time, the presentation that I have made for you is a lot longer than the super condensed one I've created in XP2024. But in this way, I'm pretty sure that whatever you need is there. And you can get the QR code, you can understand what you want to do based on tangible information that you can discuss with your peers and understand how you can start this digital landscape revolution in your organization as well. Thanks for watching, and see you soon with a new interesting video about how we run the dojos with developers, with product owners, scrum master, and leaders, so that you can understand the way of working we apply in our dojo thanks to gamification, neuroscience, and behavior engineering. Thanks. Bye.